What if I told you Sandokan is still expanding even after the first big wave of attention? In just a short time, new signals have started appearing from different countries, and together they tell a much bigger story. Today, we're breaking down why Sandokan's international push is clearly not over, what these new country moves could really mean for Can Yaman, and why fans should pay attention to this phase very carefully. If you enjoy clean updates, clear analysis, and no fake hype, subscribe now. And if you want to support the channel even more, don't forget to hit the join button below. For a lot of people, once a series finishes its first major run, the conversation starts slowing down. The biggest headlines are usually gone, the viral moment fades, and the audience moves on to the next thing. But every once in a while, a project does something more interesting. Instead of disappearing, it starts opening new doors. Travels. It expands. It builds a second life across new markets, new platforms, and new kinds of viewers. And that is exactly why Sandokan is worth talking about right now. Because this is not just about one random repost, one fan page theory, or one isolated update. What makes this moment interesting is the pattern. We are seeing Sandokan appear again across multiple countries, in multiple formats, and through multiple entry points. That matters. Not because it automatically proves some gigantic future outcome, but because it shows the title is still active, still marketable, and still being pushed into fresh spaces. So in this video, let's break it all down clearly. The first reason this story matters is simple. Sandokan is not behaving like a project that is finished and forgotten. It is behaving like a title that still has movement. And in entertainment, movement matters. Sometimes fans only focus on the loudest signals. They wait for the massive trailer, the giant premiere, the huge press headline, or the dramatic career announcement. But the truth is, international momentum is often built through smaller steps that connect over time. One market gets a streaming launch. Another gets a free TV premiere. Another gets a platform-exclusive release. Another gets a new wave of promotion with local marketing materials. None of these alone may look earth-shattering. But together they create a pattern of life. That is the real story here. Let's start with Czechia. The Czech development is important because it shows Sandokan continuing its platform journey in a clear, trackable way. This is not just vague fan noise. This is the kind of signal that says the project is still entering new audience pipelines. That means new viewers, new local promotion, new thumbnails, and potentially a whole new layer of discovery. And discovery matters more than many people think. A series does not only live through its original audience. It also lives through delayed audiences. People who did not watch it at launch. People who were aware of it but did not click. People who casually discover it through a homepage banner, a recommendation row, or a weekend scroll. In many cases, these delayed audiences are where a title builds real staying power. So when Sandokan starts showing up in another market like Czechia, that is not just an isolated local update. It means the series still has enough value to keep being packaged, positioned, and presented as something worth clicking. That is a healthy sign. And there is another layer here too. A platform release is not only about availability. It is about framing. Every new platform gives a project another chance to be introduced in a different way. Some audiences will respond to the pirate adventure angle. Some will respond to the romance. Some will respond to the international cast. Some will click because of Can Yaman's presence specifically. Others may not know him well yet and will discover him through the role itself. That matters for career visibility. Because one of the most valuable things an actor can have is repeated entry into new audiences. Not just one breakout moment, but multiple openings in multiple regions. Sandokan continuing to travel means Can's face, name, and lead role image keep reaching people who may never have followed his earlier projects. Now let's move to Romania, because this is where the story gets even more interesting. Romania adds something different to the picture. It is not just another platform signal. It also brings a broadcast angle. And that matters because broadcast visibility still creates a different kind of audience contact. Streaming audiences and television audiences are not always the same. Some overlap, of course. But broadcast can still introduce a series to viewers who are not living inside algorithm-driven streaming culture every day. These are viewers who might discover a show through scheduling, family viewing habits, channel loyalty, or passive curiosity rather than active fandom. That changes the way a series spreads. Streaming is often personal and on-demand. Television can still be communal and routine-based. One person stumbles onto a show, tells someone else, watches it with family, or keeps it on because it airs in a slot that feels accessible. That kind of exposure may not always produce loud social media chatter, but it can create a stable and meaningful second wave of audience awareness. So Romania is not just another flag on the map. It strengthens the argument that Sandokan is moving through different distribution layers, not just repeating the same exact type of release. And there is something psychologically important about that. When a series starts appearing across different countries and delivery models, it begins to feel less like a one-moment event and more like an actual international property. That is a huge difference. A one-moment event can trend and disappear. An international property keeps finding new rooms to enter. That is what fans should focus on here. Not fake certainty. Not "this proves everything." Not "season 2 is guaranteed tomorrow." None of that. The smarter reading is this: Sandokan still has commercial life, still has rollout value, and still has enough strength for new local launches to be treated like an event. And now let's talk about Japan, because honestly, this may be one of the most exciting pieces of the current picture. Why? Because Japan is not just a random addition. It gives the Sandokan story a different kind of cultural expansion. When a project starts crossing into more distant markets with localized branding, platform positioning, and fresh promotional materials, it tells you something important. The series is being treated as exportable entertainment, not just as a niche regional item. That matters a lot. Because the entertainment business is full of titles that work in one or two familiar zones but struggle to travel further. When a series starts showing signs of broader mobility, that suggests there is something in the package that still makes sense internationally. Adventure, element, costume drama, hero framing, visual spectacle, star presence. All of those things can help a show move across borders more successfully than people expect. Japan also adds another useful dimension to the story: presentation. When a title enters a new market with its own promotional rollout, the series gets refreshed, feels new again. It is not living only in the memory of the first wave anymore. It is being reintroduced. That matters for audience energy. It matters for social content. It matters for fan edits, clips, discussions, and even future press angles. Every time a title is relaunched well, it gains a new chance to breathe. And when you step back and look at Czechia, Romania, and Japan together, the bigger point becomes very hard to ignore. This is not one stray update. This is a multi-market continuation story. And that is the kind of story that can absolutely support a full video right now. Because fans are not just asking, "What happened today?" They are also asking, "What phase are we in now?" And I think that is the better question. We are in the Sandokan expansion phase after the initial core run. That phase is not always flashy, but it is often very revealing. This is where you learn whether a series had only launch week heat or whether it can keep finding relevance. This is where you learn whether a project had only hype or whether it has catalog value. This is where you learn whether an actor's lead image can keep traveling with the title. And for Can Yaman, that is a very important point. Because one of the ongoing conversations around his career has always been about scale, transition, and international positioning. Not just being popular in one place, but growing into a screen presence that can carry projects across different markets and different audience expectations. Sandokan matters in that conversation because it is not built like a small, local, low-ambition project. It is designed to look bigger, move bigger, and feel bigger. So when it continues to appear in new places, that helps reinforce the image of Can not only as a known face, but as the center of a title that still has international movement. And yes, that does not automatically mean every market will react the same way. That is important to say clearly. Different countries will receive a show differently. Some will connect strongly to the action, some to the romance, some to the historical adventure atmosphere. Some may love the visuals more than the writing. Some may respond more to Can than to the story. Others may respond to the story first and the actor second. That is normal. That is how international distribution works. But the point is not uniformity. The point is reach. The point is that Sandokan keeps getting more chances to find the right viewers in the right places. And that is why I would not reduce this moment to just another story update. I think it is bigger than that. Quietly bigger maybe, but still bigger. Now, some people will ask, does this mean a new massive breakthrough is guaranteed? Well, and that is exactly why this topic is strong for the channel. Because the best analysis is not blind hype. The best analysis is reading signals without exaggerating them. So here is the balanced read. What this probably does mean: Sandokan still has distribution energy. The title still has rollout value. The project still attracts platform interest across markets. Can Yaman's face and role as Sandokan continue to travel internationally. The series still has a second life story worth watching. What this probably does not mean: an automatic global explosion overnight, a guaranteed direct link to future production decisions, or a reason to pretend every new country launch is the same as a brand new original premiere. That distinction is important. Because when you stay balanced, your audience trusts you more. And your channel has always worked best when it reads the real signal instead of chasing empty hype. That is exactly why this video makes sense now. You are not forcing drama where there is none. You are not inventing scandal. You are not recycling old noise. You are identifying a clean, real pattern. Sandokan is still spreading. And in a content environment where many entertainment channels either overhype everything or wait only for giant events, this kind of middle ground analysis can actually feel refreshing. It gives viewers something useful. It gives them a way to understand where the project stands without needing fake certainty. There is also a nice emotional angle here for fans. A lot of fans do not just want to know whether their favorite actor posted a photo or appeared somewhere stylish. Those things can be fun, of course. But what many viewers really want is progress. They want to feel that the projects still matter, still move, and still open new paths. This Sandokan moment gives exactly that kind of feeling. Not through one explosive headline, but through continued expansion. And honestly, there is something powerful about that. Because a project that keeps traveling shows resilience, shows adaptability. It shows that even after the first main conversation cools down, the title can keep re-entering the world in new ways. That is how some series slowly build a stronger legacy than people expected at the beginning. And for John, that is a valuable image to have attached to his name. Not just a star of attention, not just a star of moments, but a lead actor whose major projects continue to move. So if I had to sum up the situation in one sentence, it would be this. Sandokan's story is no longer only about where it started. It is now also about where it keeps going. And that is why today's update is worth your time. Because Czechia, Romania, and Japan do not just give us 3 separate headlines. Together they give us one bigger message. Sandokan is still alive in the market, still expanding, and still giving Can Yaman new international visibility. That is the real takeaway. And going forward, that is what I would watch next. Not fake rumors, not random panic, not dramatic overreading, but the next market, the next platform, the next signal that shows whether Sandokan keeps extending its footprint. Because if this pattern continues, then we are not looking at a series that simply had its moment. We are looking at a series that is building a longer road. So what do you think? Is Sandokan quietly becoming one of the most interesting long-tail international stories in Can Yaman's recent career? For me, that is the most exciting part of this update. Not noise, not overreaction, but movement. Real movement. If you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe for more clean Can Yaman analysis. And if you want to support the channel even more directly, don't forget to press the join button below.